He thinks it's funny, but I've got stories that can end his legacy.
The wildest NBA clash ever is exploding right now. LeBronJames and KevinDurant tried to throw shade at MichaelJordan, and it just snapped back in their faces. Everything kicked off on the Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash, where KD dropped a joke about MJ that came off straight disrespectful. And LeBron, he laughed way too hard, like he wanted everyone to hear it. But this wasn't about stats, highlights, or the usual back and forth. They touched something personal, something tied to MJ's family, and that hit different.
You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back.
It cut deep. Jordan didn't let it slide for a second. He fired back with a line that froze the whole league. He thinks it's funny, but I've got stories that can end his legacy. That shook everybody. And that was only the start. MJ didn't just defend himself, he exposed real receipts, behind-the-scenes info about LeBron's ties to questionable people, and even hints about possible performance-enhancing help. This took the drama to a whole new level. Today we're breaking everything down. The disrespectful joke, MJ's cold clapback, the hidden drama, and the shocking truths that could flip the legacies of LeBron and KD. To really understand how this blew up, we gotta go back to the exact moment on Mind the Game.
This is nothing but a MichaelJordan diss, bro. A MichaelJordan headshot. And it's crazy coming for a like KD, who has literally talking about commitment.
At first, the internet tried pretending it wasn't serious until everybody realized how blatant the disrespect was. The whole episode was just LeBron, Steve Nash, and KevinDurant talking hoops like normal. Then out of nowhere, KD drops the smoothest sneaky diss I've ever heard from an NBA player. They were talking about longevity, minutes, rest, all that regular talk.
You and Michael at a good spot.
Who, me and Michael?
Jordan?
Yeah, we're a good spot. We don't talk.
Why not, you think?
Because I'm still playing.
And KD just slipped it in like nothing happened. And KD said this. He said it with a straight face like he was dropping some random fun fact, but that was not a fun fact. That was a direct hit aimed right at MichaelJordan's deepest pain. KD basically threw out the idea that Mike quit when things got tough. And the wild part wasn't even the line. It was LeBron's reaction. You can see LeBron trying to choke the laugh back for half a second, then he cracks into a full laugh, like he just couldn't hold it in. And you can tell this wasn't the first time they joked about it. This felt like something they already talked about behind closed doors. But here's where the whole thing gets heavy. Michael's baseball season happened right after his father's murder, and everything he went through after that was real trauma.
Got it? Okay. Guys, everybody.
People always said the switch to baseball was strange, but anyone who actually lived through that era knows he was honoring his dad's dream. Simple as that. So when KD turned that moment into a punchline, he basically poked at the one thing Mike does not joke about. And when that clip dropped online, social media tore into LeBron and KD instantly. The comments were ruthless. The video exploded everywhere, and even sports creators refused to let it slide. They kept replaying it, breaking it down, and calling it out with zero hesitation. And let's be real here, KD knows exactly what he's doing. He studies the game. He knows MJ's entire story front to back. That's why everybody clocked it as a deliberate shot at Mike. And LeBron laughing made it even messier. One superstar dropping a bad joke is one thing, but two legends smirking about the GOAT's darkest chapter, that's the weakest look I've seen in a minute. If you want to talk trash about MJ, at least keep it competitive. Go after the Wizards years. Joke about him punching teammates. Say anything else, but not the one thing rooted in pure grief. And yeah, people kept saying KD didn't mean it that way. That's nice, but intent doesn't matter. When a moment hits that hard, everything changes instantly. The second LeBron laughed, the whole vibe flipped. What gets me is how KD and LeBron always pretend they're too mature for drama. Yet they end up creating the biggest drama in the league every time. KD gets sensitive over the smallest things, but he's out here starting beef on a podcast. And LeBron loves acting friendly with MJ in public, but the moment he thinks he can sneak a joke in, he's laughing, like he's front row at a comedy club. But if there's one thing we've learned about MJ over the years, it's simple. He stays quiet until someone pushes the wrong button. And KD and LeBron hit the one button they should have never touched.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt.
People acted like that moment was some shocking betrayal, but honestly, if you know the history between LeBron and MJ, this all makes perfect sense. Those two never really clicked, and they're not about to start now. The more receipts you dig up, the clearer it gets that LeBron laughing at KD's MJ joke wasn't some accident. That was exactly on brand for him. The best example? That Pat McAfee interview earlier this year. LeBron finally said it out loud. He and MichaelJordan don't talk like at all. That's straight from his own mouth. And LeBron tried to explain it by saying MJ is too competitive, like he can't talk to another star until the guy retires.
LeBron in his prime, Michael in his prime one-on-one. Who wins that game?
Myself, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna take myself versus anybody. I'll tell you one thing, they're gonna have to have a few wheelchairs and a couple ambulances there to get us off the floor.
And I'm sitting there thinking, really? Because the MJ everybody knows talked to plenty of active players. He talked with Kobe so much, they ended up like brothers. And Kobe was a bigger threat to MJ's legacy than LeBron ever was. That explanation felt like when someone tells you their friend hasn't come around because they're just busy. Sure they are. And what made it even stranger is LeBron saying that once he retires, then he and MJ will get close. That sounds like someone saying they'll finally call their dad after they move out. If you two aren't close right now, retirement isn't magically gonna make MJ grab the phone.
There was a lot of heat on the fact that because of Michael's gambling habit, his father paid the price.
The fact LeBron even said that shows he feels that distance heavy. And you don't drop a line like that unless it's been sitting on your mind for years. But this gap between them isn't new. You can go straight back to the 2022 All-Star game in Cleveland and see it play out in real time.
And at this time, I had no thoughts of coming back and playing the game of basketball. So when I did decide to come back in 1995, and then we played Utah in 96, I'm at the center circle, and Brian Russell sitting next to me, and I look over to Brian. I say, you remember this conversation you made in 1994 about I think I can guard you, I can shut you down, I would love to play against you. Well, you about to get your chance.
Remember when MJ walked out during the 75th ceremony and the whole arena lost it? He was hugging everybody with real energy, but when he reached LeBron, the air got tight fast. MJ hit him with this stiff little hey man handshake that felt like two guys who used to talk but haven't said a word in forever. Then MJ walks past him, spots Luka, and suddenly lights up like he just ran into someone he truly missed. The switch was crazy. The whole vibe flipped in seconds, and it was wild because inside LeBron's own building, on his own night, MJ showed more real love to Luka Doncic than to LeBron James. And can you even blame him? LeBron has poked at MJ's pride more than once. The moment LeBron declared himself the greatest NBA player of all time on camera.
He was caught dressed like my housekeeper. He calls himself the GOAT.
After the 2016 finals was the first real crack in their relationship. Before that, LeBron always called MJ his idol. He wore 23. He copied MJ's celebrations. He said MJ was the reason I picked up a basketball. Then out of nowhere, he crowned himself the GOAT while MJ was at home, staying quiet. MJ is competitive to the core, but he's also proud. If someone wants to take that throne, cool, earn it. Just don't declare it yourself on HBO. And then there's the one-on-one talk. Every few years, those clips pop back up of LeBron saying he'd beat MJ in a prime versus prime matchup. And he never says it humble at all.
The LeBron situation, because what LeBron essentially did here is he used nepotism to get his son a job in the NBA. That's basically what this was. And most people agree that's what happened. Bronny James, the son, did not play his way into the NBA. Most people generally agree with that.
He always throws in some little joke like they'd need wheelchairs or stretchers after the game, like he's setting up a whole movie trailer. LeBron in his prime, Michael in his prime, one-on-one. Who wins that game? I'll ambulance there to get us off the floor. And sure, that's funny when you're talking about random players, but when you're talking about the man whose legacy you've been chasing your entire career, it hits way different. You can see why MJ wouldn't be thrilled hearing stuff like that, and that's exactly why KD's little baseball joke wasn't cute or harmless. It cut deep because that chapter of MJ's life wasn't some side story.
To not have passed Michael in 30-point games, and he's played
I think he's on year 20, right?
It was tied to his father, James Jordan Sr., and the pain around that time was real. Back then, Michael was dealing with a gambling habit. Not wild like people try to make it sound, but it still spiraled enough to set off events he never saw coming. And tragically, his father allegedly ended up paying the ultimate price, and a lot of people pointed fingers because of that connection. Michael didn't plan any of it. He didn't see any of it coming. And the guilt he carried for years was something only he truly understood.
KD is a great, great player. He's sensitive, 100% sensitive. What I said, and I stick by, KD is a great, great player. But he's going to have to win a championship without the Warriors to get the old heads' respect. And I used the analogy. I said, Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest ever, said, I had to win a championship without Shaq.
And the baseball part wasn't random at all. Jordan Sr. loved baseball deeply. He grew up with that game, taught it to his sons, and always dreamed of seeing one of them carry it forward. So when Michael stepped away from basketball to play league baseball, he wasn't being dramatic or impulsive. He was honoring his father's memory, trying to bring a dream to life for the man who raised him and was taken from him. The pressure didn't just hit MJ at home. The media went wild with it. Headlines were out of control. Jordan quits basketball for baseball. MJ escapes NBA pressure. Was he suspended? Conspiracy theories spread everywhere like a storm. None of it was true, but Michael still had to live through all of it, while carrying the Bulls, the league, his father's loss, and non-stop rumors sitting on his shoulders every single day. It was overwhelming. And if you know anything about MJ, you know he does not take disrespect lightly. Maybe KD's joke or LeBron's laugh could slide with somebody else, sure. But with MJ, he remembers everything and responds with sniper-level precision. Just look at his Hall of Fame speech. He didn't show up to be sentimental or soft. He showed up to dominate. He wanted everyone in that room to feel exactly why he's different, why he never lets anything slide, and why nobody touches him when it comes to legacy. That wasn't just a celebration of his career. It was MJ giving the world a masterclass in answering disrespect with force. That's exactly why KD and LeBron should have never poked the things MJ values most. Some topics are off limits. You can joke about stats, rings, athleticism, clutch moments, whatever. But you do not touch that baseball year. That chapter came from real pain, and MJ turned that pain into pure greatness. He took tragedy, pressure, conspiracies, and the entire NBA world watching him, and still became the greatest to ever play the game.
Trying to get back your timing and conditioning, really, to be honest, correct?
Yeah.
But the story didn't end there, because MJ answered LeBron. And wow, it was cold. He threw out, dressed like my housekeeper. He calls himself the GOAT, and the whole internet froze. And that just made things even more embarrassing for LeBron, because his past is full of moments that make him look, let's just say, far from flawless. LeBron's laugh looks even more out of place when you remember his own history. This is the guy people call the greatest player ever, but for fans who grew up watching real legends dominate, that title has always felt shaky. And to understand why that laugh hit so wrong, you gotta look at moments LeBron created himself. Moments that made people question the image he tries to present. One example that keeps floating around online is that old video call where LeBron was hyping up a wild party scene and shouting, "Up!" like everything was all fun and games. That clip recently resurfaced again, and not in a flattering way. Fans are asking why LeBron was always so loud about those environments in the first place, because he regularly showed up at those flashy events and talked about them like it was all harmless. But when some of those situations fell apart or got messy, LeBron suddenly went quiet. For someone who keeps a good guy clean image, being tied to chaotic party scenes never looks great, especially when you're constantly comparing yourself to MJ. And then there's the power and influence conversation, the one fans bring up nonstop. LeBron has pulled strings around the league for years, and people notice. For a guy who argues his legacy next to MJ's, every questionable move just gives more fuel to the debate. We also can't ignore the performance-enhancing rumors fans always bring up. Jeff Teague openly said LeBron sat out right when heavy testing kicked in, then came back looking different. Jeff literally said, "I was in the league. I remember that." That clip went everywhere. And then there's the long-running rumor about Delonte West and LeBron's mother, Gloria James, one of the most infamous NBA stories ever tied to LeBron. It followed him for years, resurfacing every time people bring up drama around his career. All of this makes LeBron's laugh at KD's joke look way worse than he expected, because his own past has plenty of moments that don't line up with the perfect image he tries to sell. LeBron stayed silent and let the whole situation spin out of control, and the locker room felt that tension instantly. You don't get to laugh at someone's pain when your own history has its fair share of messy moments. And let's be real, nobody ever heard stories about MJ's teammates getting mixed up in anything involving his family. Not once. On top of that, LeBron's power moves aren't just on the court. They show up in front office decisions too. Every real NBA fan knows how he pushes for trades, shifts rosters, and pretty much influences franchise moves like a second general manager. And the chase isn't just about greatness anymore. It's about staying culturally relevant. From dramatic announcements to movies to constant media projects, you can see he's trying to match MJ's impact. But MJ didn't need product pushes or flashy promos to lock down GOAT status. MJ was the product. The man built the most successful sneaker line on the planet, and he did it off pure aura and performance. No extra noise needed. Then there's social media energy. LeBron doesn't confront directly. He subtweets, he throws shade, he drops those passive-aggressive hints. Meanwhile, MJ handles things face-to-face every time. That's the difference. Let's be honest, LeBron would have never had the guts to laugh like that with MJ actually standing there in person. And even the legends see through the act. Charles Barkley and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have both publicly questioned LeBron's style. And they don't sugarcoat a thing. They call it how they see it. So when you stack it all together, the power moves, the rumors, the awkward headlines, the questionable decisions, everything. And LeBron still chooses to laugh at MJ's most personal, painful chapter. That's not clueless behavior. That's someone choosing to poke at a place he could never reach. But hey, at least LeBron is one of the best players of this era. What about KD? What kind of legacy does he think he has to make a joke that tasteless? KevinDurant is elite on the court, no doubt, but his off-court history and behavior make his timing look even worse. KD stays showing the same energy, defensive, entitled, and quick to react when someone questions him. If you want to poke at the GOAT, you better make sure your own resume is spotless, because MJ's legacy doesn't bend for anyone. And with KD, the issues start way before this joke ever happened. Let's begin with the burner accounts. KD himself admitted he ran multiple fake profiles just to clap back at people online. Imagine that. The same guy trying to fire shots at MichaelJordan couldn't even handle criticism under his real name. He had to hide behind secret accounts to defend his own choices, and that says a lot. Then there's the Warriors' move. The moment that hit his reputation harder than anything else. When he was with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were up 3-1 in the 2016 Western Conference Finals, then collapsed. Instead of coming back stronger and fighting with his team, KD left and joined the same squad that just knocked him out. He didn't push himself, he didn't test his limits, he joined a fully loaded super team, and he even said he'd do it again 1,000,000 times. At least now we know exactly how those two rings came together. Meanwhile, MJ has 6, yet somehow KD still felt bold enough to mock MJ. And when he joined the Brooklyn Nets, everything turned into chaos. He demanded trades, clashed with coaches, and the whole league heard about the tension. Reports said he was influencing front office decisions, shaping rotations, and expecting everyone to follow his vision like he was running the whole operation. So of course, KD and LeBron get along. They both move with that control the situation energy. Loyalty, accountability, and resilience took a back seat when comfort became the priority. Meanwhile, Michael Jordan built the Bulls through pure leadership and work ethic. He inspired teammates, earned respect the hard way, and faced every challenge head-on without jumping to a new super team. Even Charles Barkley has called KD thin-skinned and said legends won't fully respect him until he wins a championship without Golden State. That came straight from Chuck himself. And guess what? KD hasn't done it since leaving the Warriors. And instead of handling criticism calmly, this is how he responded, acting irritated and defensive, like someone who didn't want to face the truth. KD always goes one of two ways. Either he snaps back publicly with long arguments, petty replies, and clapbacks toward fans, reporters, teammates, even legends, or he hides behind indirect shade like nothing happened. KD can hoop, KD can shoot, no question, but he will never touch MJ's cultural power or that raw competitive fire MJ walked with every single day. So yeah, that joke had zero reason to exist. And it's wild because people keep acting like they haven't learned from history. Every time a player disrespects a true NBA legend, the universe or the legend themselves finds a way to humble them. Just look at Dwight Howard in 2013. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went on ESPN and said Dwight lacked basketball IQ. He literally said Dwight wasn't thinking the game through and questioned his dominance. Dwight fired back by bringing up his 3 Defensive Player of the Year trophies, but the vibe was off. Kareem doubled down, saying Dwight didn't want to put in real work. Dwight tried to clap back again, but it just made him look insecure. And even he knew it. And LeBron, he's had his own moments too. Think back to Lance Stevenson in 2014. Lance leaned in and literally blew air in LeBron's ear during the Eastern Conference Finals because he thought it was funny. The same way LeBron and KD thought their little MJ joke was funny. And how did that end? Lance became a meme for life. Look at younger players who tried mocking Kobe or MJ back in the day. Old clips, rookie interviews, little comments, all of it came back to bite them later. Legends have long memories. And Shaq? Man, don't even get started. Shaq spent his entire career destroying any center who dared challenge him. The moment somebody talked slick, Shaq would obliterate them on the court without even blinking. That's how legends handle disrespect. So here's the pattern. Every NBA fan knows. Disrespect a legend and you get humbled every single time. Whether it's a public roasting, a beat down on the court, or history completely erasing your argument, it always comes back around. And let's be honest, MJ isn't just any legend. He's the GOAT. Disrespecting him isn't some casual joke. It's straight arrogance. Legends don't forget slights easily, especially not someone like MJ. And especially not when fans see everything and never forget. So KD and LeBron basically painted a giant target on themselves. No matter how much they try to cover it up or spin it, everyone knows who the standard is. MJ is dominance, culture, intimidation, and legacy wrapped into one untouchable package. Rings, check. Cultural influence, off the charts. Competitive fire, check again. This was never just about stats or highlight reels. This was MJ defending the throne. He has been challenged, mocked, doubted, tested his whole career. And every time he responds, it usually ends badly for the person who started it. So if anybody thinks MJ is just gonna let KD or LeBron slide because it was a joke, you're kidding yourself. That's not how MJ operates. Now here's the real question. MJ hinted earlier that he still has stories that could hurt LeBron's legacy. Should he drop more? Should he expose what he knows? We've already seen enough moments from LeBron's career to create a whole list of questionable headlines. Imagine the behind-the-scenes stories MJ might have. But the funny part, MJ probably won't do anything. That's not his style. He lets the record speak for him. He lets time prove his point. So ask yourself, if you were MJ, would you let the disrespect slide? If you're rocking with the truth, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video so more people see what's really going on.